I want to start off by saying that my daughter was #1 on that hit list. Okay? I called the school on 2 separate occasions, Tuesday and Wednesday, to inform them of this child who was going to curb stomp my daughter or make my daughter bite the curb. And I was assured that my daughter was safe. And I was assured that it was handled and taken care of. I wasn't called. I was followed up with a generic email saying, the student you mentioned was talked to today. If you have any other concerns or questions, please reach out. Okay. Her friend got information that her and my daughter were going to be brutally attacked, and nothing was done. Nothing. So my next question is, where are the answers? You all are saying you're not commenting tonight? So when do we get to comments?
Do your job.
Yep. Give us answers.
And you, Todd, I'm going to call you out personally, okay? Because the victim's father was told you were unaware that this child was a threat. How? How is that possible when I made a phone call to let them know that my child was being victimized? You answer me that on your time.
I played volleyball in middle school on a girls' team, and I am so grateful that I didn't have to play against any boys because those girls can spike the ball pretty tough. I also played softball when I got older, and played on a women's girls' team. It was recreational; it wasn't collegiate level. But I also joined a co-ed team because I was pretty darn good. That didn't last long because I didn't want to get my teeth knocked out. To be quite frank, those balls coming from the bats were quite different coming from males than they were from females. Why does it seem like we always have to wait for somebody to get injured before we do something? And by the way, talked to a parent from the Lowell Charter School, KIPP Academy, down in Lowell, Mass. yesterday. And there were 3 players that were injured in that game, and the remaining players didn't want to continue on because they feared for the injury. And yes, if you watch the video, it is the trans student throwing the girls to the ground. In Title IX, we made great strides, females, women. And I feel like we're just going backwards now. We're just going backwards. They're losing their scholarships. They're losing their awards. And I just can't believe in 2024, we're fighting for the basic rights of women and girls to play sports fairly, to have privacy in a locker room, to have privacy in their bathroom. I feel like we're going back to the 1950s, 1940s, where, we were marginalized. And now that we have made these great strides, this is going backwards. We've done this. Why are we even, I don't even believe that this is being debated anymore.
I have a lot of friends that have daughters there, and they're not comfortable with having boys change. These are 13-year-olds. These are not high schoolers. These are 13-year-olds. They're going through puberty. They're nervous as it is, and they don't want to change in front of a boy. You saw what happened at King. You saw how it escalated with those kids. The girls didn't want that boy in their space, and what happened? Is that what we want at Miller now? Again, I agree with what she said. We want to protect all kids. All kids deserve protection. My kids don't lose their protection when they walk in your door. They don't lose their rights. They don't lose. So why should our kids have to now give up their religious, modesty and have to change in front of a boy just to appease someone else? My kids' rights don't end. So religion is a protected class. I've said it a million times, and this district wants to pretend like it isn't. And what our president just did with Title IX is ridiculous. And we all know it's going to be challenged in the court. And thankfully, our Supreme Court has a lot more common sense than our president, so it will be repealed. But in the meantime, our kids don't need to suffer. You're bleeding 500 kids a year, and you're going to bleed even more. I met with a school board president from another district, and she said, we're gaining 600 kids a year because people are coming to our district to get away from woke districts because they don't have to deal with that. So I hope that you start listening to all your parents, not just the activists that probably don't even have kids.
Thank you.
The term woman means adult human female. Trans is an adjective. used to describe a person who feels they are something other than what their biology defines. It should not grant instant classification into a category of females who contributed to the improvement of fellow female existence. To the contrary, lumping trans into this category of bravery waters down their hard-earned accomplishments. Trans begins as a mental state. This month honors historical women in the physical state. Non-binary, a term for someone who doesn't want to play along with the binary. One could say it might be rude to inject someone into trying to escape the binary into a binary. Cis is a made-up term. It's redundant, much like saying irregardless, an extra syllable that serves up more pet peeves than intellectual enhancements. That just looks silly in there. Gender nonconforming, also someone who doesn't follow the rules of certain stereotypes. To call someone gender nonconforming places a greater value on stereotypes than to dispel them. We have conflation in translation. Women's history is about women, noun, not women, adjective. It's the likes of Susan B. Anthony, Rosa Parks, Betsy Ross, Harriet Tubman deserve to be honored as the women in noun form that they were. If this resolution is about contributions made by women, the injection of suicide statistics for teen girls and LGBTQ youth is misplaced. Serious topics and deserving of focus, yet Suicide Prevention Month is September, LGBTQ is June. And by the way, the disability awareness doesn't mention suicide or LGBTQ.
Thank you very much for your time.
I am a woman. Look at me. There is no doubt. How do I know? I have a period. I have a gynecologist. My body is designed for the production, storage, and delivery of eggs, and I have birthed 2 amazing children with this body. On the contrary, I don't fit the stereotypes. I wear little makeup. I'm tall with wide shoulders. My voice is lower and louder than most, and I am not demure. These are all the stereotypes used for a man to now claim he is a woman. If I told you I was a man, would you simply believe me because I said so? That's not good enough. It's not biology, and it's not how science works. Your board continues to promote and encourage non-scientific gender propaganda to our children. For what purpose? You'd say to be inclusive. You hide behind inclusivity. Do you know what elite means? It means a group that is not inclusive. It's literally an exclusive club that not everyone can be in. Trans men and non-binary people are in an elite club. Special even, a club that requires special rules made only for them, but more importantly, bending the rules for everyone else's club. Your current declaration tonight to include men and non-binary people into Women's History Month is an erasure of women's achievements. I will remind you that you are in the minority. You are surrounded by only people with whom you agree. The groupthink continues with each hiring choice you make through your limited lens. You exist in a bubble. You are losing favor with the parents and the general public, the very taxpayers responsible for your salary. Proclamations that add men who say they are women and add women who don't even claim to be women is an affront to women who know who they are. Women are real, and we deserve our recognition.
Thank you.
I'm Sage's mom. Sage calls me Nana because I'm also her grandmother. I adopted Sage after my son passed away in 2007. And by the time I was able to bring Sage home, she had spent more than a year in 6 different foster homes. But worse trauma was to come because no child should ever have to go through the horrific ordeal Sage did. You have the opportunity to change the policies that led to this. I have heard from so many other families across the country with similar experiences. Democrats, progressives, Republicans, religious, non-religious, LGBTQ, it doesn't matter. We are all in the same boat. We are parents who love our kids, and we want to keep them safe. When Sage started high school at 14 and decided to say she was a boy, like most kids who identify as trans, she struggled with mental health issues. She had been hospitalized that summer and was still being treated. She was fragile. I told the school all this, but they left me completely in the dark and immediately affirmed her, using a male name, male pronouns, telling her, a tiny girl, to use the boys' bathroom, with even giving her transgender website she could secretly access on her school computer. And they never told me.
Thank you. If you could wrap up your comments, we're giving everybody a minute.
Okay.